What is going on, guys? How y'all doing? Happy Sunday to all of you, and also happy Valentine's Day as well. This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here live for my live review of this past week's episode of Smackdown, the February 12th, 2021 edition of Smackdown. Of course, it would have been Abe Lincoln's... Hang on. He was born in 1809. 211th birthday, I believe it is? Yeah, 211th birthday for the former 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Of course, I just witnessed Lincoln last night when I was watching an episode of Family Matters, and there was a robber on the show who was dressed up as Lincoln. But, of course, we're not here to talk politics. I never want to talk politics on this channel. But, yeah, so we're here live again. I'm sorry I didn't get to review this on Friday night or Saturday or yesterday. Had to be up very early yesterday. Went well. Came home, took a nice nap. Then went down to visit my girlfriend. So that's why I'm doing this review now. And of course, the two turtlers, because we had two turns solidified on SmackDown last night. I'll do those. And then I will keep this green screen set up because when I come home tonight, I would like to do my live review of NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day 2021 as well once I get home. So, we will roll in and talk about all this stuff. And I also have a top 10 special set up again that I'm probably going to do Tuesday night, I'd say. I do it tomorrow night, but I don't want to cut into Raw. So, I would say I'll probably save that for Tuesday night after my Raw review. But yes, so we're going to roll in and review the show. And overall, SmackDown this week was just solid. It was not like a blown out proportion, like, oh my gosh show. Solid. Solid episode on the Blue Brand. Not one that I hated. Not one that, I thought was amazing either. But it was solid. I'm not going to complain really about many things we got on this show. I mean, most of it was alright. And of course, we had a certain somebody show up, and we got part 2 of Also, and yes, I was asked earlier by my own mother today, where is your Valentine's shirt? Well, I have somewhat red on because I have Joe. My new Samoa Joe, t-shirt on that I got from my future brother-in-law for Christmas this year. Thank you, Tim. So yeah, that's the shirt I'm wearing tonight for NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day 2021, which again I will review when I get home tonight from my friend's house. But let's check the live chat and get rolling here at this show. We've got JR. What's up, JR? He says, "Did you hear about Alexa Bliss's stalker?" I did hear about that, yes. I have not heard any updates, so I am hoping she is okay, and I hope what happened to her does not... hope what happened to Sonya Deville does not happen to her. Or I hope worse does not happen to her, because I'd hate to see something happen, of course, as we all would, of course, as well. But yes, thank you for mentioning that, JR. Good to have you here, buddy. Again, I hope you're doing well. I know you've had a very rough time recently, so again, just offer my thoughts and prayers to you as well from your recent turn of events. But without further ado, let's get forward and talk about this episode of SmackDown. So, we opened up the show with Adam Pearce in the ring. As he's in the ring, Roman Reigns makes his way out with Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. And we're getting a piped in "you suck" chants, and then Roman stares down Pearce and he says, "Why are you standing back there? Get over here, it's okay." But he tells him that Pearce has no power over him, and he thinks that Edge is scared of him because he knows what will happen if they do wrestle, leave him stuck on a Legends contract. He says he's not dropping the title until he's ready to. He tells Pearce, though, to go ahead, make the announcement. And then Pearce says Roman is going to be defending his title inside the Elimination Chamber. Roman tells him he'll let Paul handle things now, and Heyman says he understands there's an agreement he has to look at, and he understands the show has to be built around the chamber. But nothing says Roman has to defend the title inside the chamber. So he said, still have the chamber match. Put anybody you want inside of it. And let all your fetishes and fantasies out. And instead of having Roman defend this title inside the chamber, he'll still defend the title at Elimination Chamber, except the winner of that title match will have a title match against Roman Reigns later on that night. So probably saying that this match will open up the show, and then it will the winner of that match will end the show against Roman Reigns, which sounds like a pretty darn good opportunity for the person I'm hoping wins it, because we had all the people announced and qualified for the chamber on this show. So he tells them put anyone in the chamber and Pierce takes the idea and says they'll have qualifying matches tonight. However, though, he has 2 stars who already feel deserves a spot. I agree with one. Second one, not so much, as to, just handing him an opportunity. You know what I mean? So, Roman's familiar with both of these men. And, of course, the 2 men are Jey Uso and Kevin Owens. He basically runs down his reasons why, which, Jey, I get. Obviously, Adam Pearce has been dealing with Roman Reigns a lot. So why not, fight fire with fire and have Jey Uso kind of have a chance to fight Roman Reigns again, and see how that gets to the head of Roman to get Roman to stop, acting like him being a champion is right. Kevin Owens, though, technically, Roman still has not beaten Owens in some ways, fair and square. He's always had help from Jey. He's pulled off a dirty tactic by, throwing the referee face first into a post, and then low blowing Owens to win us okay. But it's like, again, Owens has had how many opportunities? To fill a spot in the chamber, though, fine. I would have rather have had Owens qualify, though. Again, I love the work Kevin Owens has done. Don't get me wrong. And at first, when they had Owens stun Roman last week, I thought, because I put it in my chamber card predictions, I'm thinking, they're probably going to do one more because, yes, Roman was able to keep Owens down, but by cheating. Because, in reality, Owens should have originally won the match, so I thought they were going to do an I Quit match, as I thought. But then again, we just had Roman recently do an I Quit match with Jey Uso. But as far as Owens being in the chamber, I'm fine with Owens being in the chamber. I just would rather have him qualified. Or if they were going to give someone a spot in the chamber without qualifying, why not the one guy that Roman had basically taken his opportunity away from, and that's Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, why could Nakamura get this opportunity, But, whatever. Person who is people, so there's, of course, I have 2 obvious, picks I want to see win this match. And they were in the main event, which we'll get to that in a second. So basically, it happens, and then as soon as Pierce announces that both Jey and Owens were going to be in the chamber match, Reigns basically gets up in his face and threatens Pierce, but leading Heyman to remind him to do this on his time and keep calling the shots, which causes Reigns to back off. My thing, though, is even though when I did my predictions, I realized there really is nothing really that can be done for the women for the chamber matches. Like, again, Bianca has not made her decision yet as to who she's going to face at WrestleMania. So if she hasn't, then why are we going to be doing a chamber match to give someone a title opportunity that Bianca Belair could still be taking? And another thing too is where's really the depth to even have the women defend any of the titles, whether it's a Raw, SmackDown, or even the women's tag titles inside the chamber. You know what I mean? So I could kind of understand why we did move ahead with a women's elimination chamber match. But these chamber matches are going to be just decent, but good, but not ones that are going to knock off the charts. Although, I'll give it that this SmackDown one maybe could. Because, of course, one person who's in it. Well, kind of two people, but one person who's in it. We'll talk about that when we get to it. And I am hoping, praying and hoping, it leads to a title opportunity for somebody. Someone who's been long deserving of a one-on-one world title shot. And if they do this, I'll at least ease off WWE a little bit about this superstar. So anyways, and I'll say that they did do the right thing to kind of get a certain somebody to re-sign. So let's roll into this. So then, backstage we have Adam Pearce running to Sonya Deville, and she congratulates him on standing up to Roman. She has an out-of-the-box idea. Instead of doing just like one-on-one qualifying match, why don't they do a tag team qualifying match where both members of the winning team qualify for a spot in the chamber? And he likes the idea and says she already told everyone, and he thanks her for her quick thinking. And then Sami Zayn cuts a promo during his entrance, complaining about having to qualify for the chamber, which, okay, Sami, you gotta qualify, you have no reason to really be just handed in. So the first match was King Corbin and Sami Zayn taking on Rey and Dominic Mysterio. And then we have the heels won the match. I was surprised. I don't know, I thought maybe they would have the Mysterios win, even though they got to throw some heels in there, so whatever. I'm fine with Zayn in there. Corbin, whatever. But I guess this loss is going to continue to try to lead to, because again, I'm still feeling, I still feel because there's not a third person in the picture yet, because I thought the story was going to be a third person was kind of going to enter the picture with kind of like, you know, driving the wedge between Rey and Dominic. So I still thought they were going to be getting Rey and Dominic at WrestleMania again. It still feels just a tad too soon. Probably holding that match off till SummerSlam. But the continued losses here is definitely going to build up for Dominic. Then backstage, we have the SmackDown Tag Champions, the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, talking to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. They want to be put inside the chamber also. And Deville tells them by suggesting they want to be in the same pod, at first saying that they wanted to make it a tag team match inside the chamber. But no, they just want two separate pods. They each want their opportunities. But they said they were thinking they could earn a shot in a match with Daniel Bryan and Cesaro later on tonight. That was going to be the main event, the qualifying match for the final two spots. Daniel Bryan and Cesaro teamed up to take on the team of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, the Dirty Dogs. So I'm like, okay, I'll take it. Especially because who's in the match, and the two matches I would love to see probably at some point before Mania. And it looks like we're probably going to be getting one of them at Elimination Chamber. So we have that. Then we also had a segment with Reginald giving Sasha a glass of the bubbly and says she's the boss around here and she deserves respect. And Reginald apologizes, saying it won't happen again, and basically just trying to suck up again to Sasha Banks. But once again, it's like, why should Sasha be giving Carmella another title opportunity after she's lost her twice? But I think I'm kind of hoping this kind of goes in some ways. This is rather just give like Bianca Belair a brief feud to do, like one-on-one feud, even though they may be doing something else with it after what we saw tonight. I don't know. Until we get to WrestleMania to put her over. So if they want to basically, you know, get in Sasha's head. Well, get also in Bianca's head, also that Bianca can't beat Sasha or something. I don't know. But that was a brief little tease. But then we've got this. Oh boy, remember for weeks I kept saying I am so close. We're so close to it, I could almost taste it. We finally got it tonight, and it's this weekend, and it's one of the 2 turns I'm going to be doing for Turn Alerts. After I finish this review, of course, and set up the graphics. We have Big E coming out to the ring. He talks about defending his IC title last week against the Odds, and he made a vow to be a fighting champion. And much like the bond between their Full C's and Gorilla Glue, that bond is strong. But he wants some new challengers as he's putting Apollo Crews behind him. As he believes, Apollo Crews is his friend, Apollo Crews has had plenty of opportunities. Which is true. And out comes Apollo. He says he knows exactly why E is out here. Because he reads him, he's going to offer an open challenge. In which Apollo Crews accepts. But Big E says, you were right, I am doing an open challenge. From anyone in the arena. From Michael Cole, to the security guard Jim Kelly, to the janitor. Anyone, though, but Apollo Crews. Because basically, Apollo Crews has had how many opportunities? But Apollo says he's the guy the locker room looks up to, and he's supposed to take all comers, right? And then Big E basically talks about the mic, accuses him of whining for another opportunity, and tells him to go back to catering and take his paycheck. Whoa, jeez. So basically firing the shots at him, saying that you've had your chances. Go back to catering. Because that's the honest truth. Here's the crossroads here. Again, that's the missed opportunity they had when Crews was on Raw and he dropped the United States Championship and he didn't move over to the Hurt Business. So, I mean, in some ways they kind of made this work in the end because, Crews refused to, jump into that temptation, even though, again, they were showing some heel signs of Crews last summer whenever Crews was champion and he had cheated a few times to win. But now, obviously, the reality is being shoved back into Crews' face, but Crews is finally pushing back on it because the Big E flat out says, go back, you got your chances, go back to catering. Ooh, again, that was a bold one. Again, that more serious side of Big E, ooh, I love it. Again, I love the transition that they had with Big E being a single star. And this, this more, serious side, right, and goofy side. So basically, he tells them to go to the back. As they bigger back and forth, Big E says they're done, but Apollo says, I'm not going to the back. And accepting that open challenge was Shinsuke Nakamura. They had a very brief match. During the match, though Apollo Crews is at the apron rooting for Shinsuke. Because obviously he wants a new champion because someone else is going to he feels is going to give him an opportunity. As he is just desperate. Apollo Crews has, again, been United States champion. Then that got taken away with him when he faced Bobby Lashley. And now, of course, that he's on SmackDown getting a new opportunity. Obviously he has a friend now that he feels like he can get favors from. But, of course, it comes to a point where it's like, Crews, you have had your opportunities. He's had great performances in them, but he's had his opportunities, and he's come up short. But obviously, it's finally just boiling him. Crews is at his boiling point that he interfered in this match, did like a drop kick on Big E, causing the DQ, and to me, solidifying the Apollo Crews heel turn. About time. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if they'll do like a thing where Apollo Crews is gonna continue. Well, I'll talk about, of course, more of my turn alert, but I'm gonna say basically Apollo Crews is just gonna be like that thorn in Big E's side, where Apollo Crews is not gonna leave Big E alone until he gives him the title shot, and basically Big E's gonna tell him you either win it this time or you're done, or you're absolutely done. No more opportunities or something like that, and or something. I don't know. I just hope it actually leads to something with Apollo Crews as a heel. Again, I still feel like the best opportunity he had. Well, I'll save it for the turner, but it happened. Apollo Crews is finally a heel, and I feel great. But I'm hoping it still leads to something. Again, we'll talk about that in the turn alert. We'll get to the next thing in a second. Let's check the live chat first. We've got JR still in the live chat. Ashes today. I read up on it, and it was that they banned him from all social media platforms, which is good. Did you also know that Deonna Purrazzo was also getting stopped to being? She has a stalker as well. Oh, jeez. Enough of this stuff, guys. Enough of it. Enough people out there. Enough of doing this to people. Yes, I'm huge fans of these people also, but they have lives. Seriously, let them be. Do I have a big-ass fan crush on Deonna Purrazzo? Absolutely. But it's called fan stuff. Crush, whatever. I'm not going to go out stalking Deonna Purrazzo. One, I have a girlfriend. I'm pretty sure if I did that, she'd kill me. And 2, because I actually respect these people as wrestlers and as human beings. If I ever met these people, I'd say it's nice to meet you. I'm a great fan, but you know what? I would not push that limit as far as trying to get them involved in my lives. So, people out there, cool it. But that'd be terrible also. Hopefully Steve Cutler protects her very well. What's up, Mark? He can't wait for TakeOver tonight as well, and he thinks it's bullcrap they're not doing a women's chamber match this year. Again, I kind of agree, but at the same time, I also feel, who was there really to do a chamber match with? I mean, the card I predicted for the Smackdown Elimination Chamber match, I predicted on my card with, I think it was Sasha Banks, Bayley, Carmella, Ruby Riott, and then Chelsea Green returning from injury, and Rhea Ripley, but I still think Rhea Ripley should go to Raw. I still think so, but right now, at this point, just save. I say at this point because we all know now where they're going with the Raw Women's title for Mania. It's going to be Lacey Evans and Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte defeating Lacey Evans at WrestleMania. So I would say at this point, just don't bring Rhea up until after Mania. Just don't. I mean, only reason why I would is if Rhea was going to get a title shot at WrestleMania to redeem her, to give her the opportunity in front of a crowd that she didn't get from last year. But they're not going to do that, so don't bring Rhea up until after Mania at this point. What's up, Tyler? We got a Raw reenactment, which we'll do that. Cesaro should win after that promo. We will talk about that. And he thought that we got the Seth Rollins babyface because we got burned it down. We will talk about that in a second as well, as that really tricked me also for sure. But yeah, thank you guys for your stuff in the live chat. And sorry about that little, not rant, but just a little PSA there about don't be stalking these wrestlers and whatnot, because I don't like to, increase controversy on here. But, like I said, just let these wrestlers have their lives. Seriously. Just let them do it. Yes, you can be fans of them, but treat them as human beings. They're still human beings just like us. But yeah. Let's roll in now to the next part of the second half of the show. So, we get a hype as Seth Rollins is going to be making his return. First time, he came back at the Rumble, but he hasn't actually been on actual SmackDown since right before Survivor Series when he got written off to go take care of Becky Lynch as Becky was about to give birth to their daughter. So the whole SmackDown roster came out for Seth Rollins to address them, which I'm like, okay, why? I mean, there wasn't really an announcement ahead of time. I said the roster had to come out to greet Rollins. But out came Rollins. And I find it weird because at the Rumble when he returned, he had his Messiah theme music. Where here, he came out to his previous Second Coming Burn It Down music. And I'm like, okay, because I read a rumor. Apparently, they were considering having Seth Rollins return and win the Rumble. They're going to have him return, win the Rumble, and turn babyface and do this whole storyline where, being a dad has changed him or something like that. And they teased that in this promo. My thing is, though, is if they want to give Seth Rollins a main event push again and be world champion, I still think he has to be a heel to do it. I'm sorry. Again, I love Seth Rollins. Excellent talent. But let's face it. He as far as the matches were concerned while he was champion, he did his best. He had some swings and misses. He had some, passable stuff, acceptable stuff, some good matches. Of course, especially his match with AJ Styles at Money in the Bank, and even his match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam I thought was pretty good. Match with Braun Strowman was what it was. Rest of the stuff, though, ugh. And most of that was not his fault. But again, let's face it. Seth Rollins cracked under the pressure as a babyface world champion in 2019. That's unfortunate. So I wasn't really for that idea of having Rollins win the Rumble and turn face and face Roman at me. I mean, if they wanted to do Rollins and Roman at one point again, cool. Their dynamics would be interesting. But like I said, I just don't know if I trust having Seth Rollins in the main event scene as a babyface again, especially how he handled himself in 2019. But so he comes out and I'm confused. I'm like, why is he having his old theme? His Tron is new. It now says Seth Rollins Embrace the Vision. So he comes out and he says it feels good to be back. And a lot of things have changed. And he was expecting that. But the thing that's changed the most, he claims, is him. Which here's where I'm like, okay, are they going to still go along with the storyline turn face? He mentions he's become a father for the first time, the parent of a beautiful, perfect baby girl, and he has a new perception and a new vision. He goes around this ring and he sees some of the most talented performers in the history of his business and wonders, though, where he fits in. And after a lot of self-reflection, it's clear he needs to be the great leader that SmackDown needs to push it into the future, make it greater than it already is. Which I'm thinking, okay, you kind of teased us there, but basically it was just like, in different terms, since he's not on Monday nights anymore, he's not calling himself the Monday Night Messiah, not the SmackDown Savior. He's just basically toning it down, saying he's Seth Rollins and he's going to make SmackDown better. You got to embrace the vision. And I was just like, this is basically the same thing. Like, teasing that he changed when he really didn't. It's like he's same old Seth Rollins as before. Except that he can't be called the Monday Night Messiah before. So that was like a little bit of like a, okay, twisted, and it's like, kind of the same thing. So with that being said, I don't understand why they changed his theme music back to his old theme. I'm not sure why the point was. I mean, if they could have just like keep his his Messiah theme music and everything would have just been fine. But that just kind of threw me off a bit. Just my opinion. So as he's says he wants to be a successful leader, and he wants to be a teacher, a father, and a mentor to anyone who sees the vision that he sees, and everybody walks out on him. Except for Cesaro. And Rollins is like, oh, I knew you'd see it. And Cesaro shakes his head at him, but then he goes to leave. So this is where I think the Cesaro face turn was solidified. They obviously teased it last week when he fist bumped Bryan in their match, got that victory. But Cesaro basically is like, no, I'm not having it. He goes to leave, and then Seth Rollins just gets out and chases him out and chop blocks him and beats him down. Referees break it up, and then Bryan makes a save and regroups with Cesaro while Seth stares on. So, again, like I predicted originally, we're going to see Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins at Elimination Chamber. That, of course, is not happening now because what happened later on. But it got me excited. I feel, and I'm hoping, well, if we do Seth, if Daniel Bryan, because I'm still feeling more and more, I mean, I like that they've really done a good job with having not Edge, like, make it super duper obvious who Edge is going to face at Mania. But what I can say is I still think they're going to go with Roman Reigns. Like, why else would Roman be accusing like Edge that he's afraid of him and not have the match at Mania? Basically, you know what I mean? I still, if they don't do Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, I still thought they may do Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins. But they're going to do a feud with Cesaro and Seth Rollins though at Mania. That may be better. I mean, not to say I don't want to see Daniel Bryan left off the card, but my thing is I think Cesaro deserves like a singles victory at Mania. I mean, yes, he already kind of does have one with winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 30. But other than that, has he really had a singles victory? I don't think he has. So, again, obviously to really make WWE look good for, at least fulfilling their promise of at least giving Cesaro like either a world title shot or a big singles victory at Mania, then I'd probably ease back on them a little bit. But we'll get to more of that in a second. But this the idea of a Seth Rollins and Cesaro pay-per-view feud. I thought we should have gotten that. I originally predicted that whenever Finn Balor had to relinquish the Universal Championship back in 2016, because at the same time they were doing that best of 7 series. So I thought originally, until they did the twist they did with it, I originally thought they would have Seth win the championship in that Fatal 4-Way, keep him a heel, and have Cesaro win that best of 7 series, and have Cesaro fight Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at Clash of Champions that year. But here, let's get to the end before I get a little too far ahead of myself. But then we have Bayley defeated Liv Morgan in a pretty solid match. Of course, Billie Kay again costs the Riot Squad, and her resume has got all over the floor. Daniel Bryan and Cesaro had an interview backstage where Cesaro says he's going to be good to compete because he's not going to waste his time, and Bryan says that Cesaro is tough. Good way to put him over. We also have the Street Profits defeat the Alpha Academy's Chad Gable and Otis in a match. That was decent for what it was. Sasha Banks came out and started dancing with the Profits. And then Sasha has the microphone, and she says she likes Bianca Belair a lot. She's like a big little sister. And she knows in her heart there's only one choice for the EST to make for WrestleMania, which should be her, but of course we're going to have a little more, suspense to get there. That leads to Bianca Belair coming out, the winner of the Women's 2021 Women's Royal Rumble match. She's the EST, and she was once undefeated. Not anymore, of course, but she comes out and says she sees her, and she hears what she says, and she likes her too, but, girl, Sasha's not the boss of her, and this is her time to enjoy every second of it. But she's right. Everybody is thinking about her decision. And no decision yet, because the music hit and I'm like, no. Like, why? Then I forgot. Oh, that's right, I forgot. She's women's tag champ. So now her and Shayna can go wherever she wants to. Out comes Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And I'm like, oh boy. But obviously, you know why they did this. Vince saw an opportunity and he had to go overboard with it. Just like Titus World Slide back in 2018, Vince had to reenact this again just to get another good laugh. So out come the women's tag champions, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler, the stooge to Nia Jax. She comes out, and she's like, oh my gosh, why is nobody talking about me? Oh my gosh, why are you talking about Bianca's decision? Oh my gosh, why do I want to talk about that? It's like, in the words of former SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley, and I know I hate this phrase, but ding dong, hello, she won the Women's Rumble, dumbass. But no, oh my gosh, everybody's talking about us, not Bianca Belair. It's like, well, if you won the Royal Rumble, then they'd be talking about you. Probably about how they don't want to see you in a match at Mania, but you probably are in some ways. So basically they do that. And of course, also what I didn't like about this, they acted like, of course, that her and Shayna were on the same page when they should not be, because they hate each other, but they're still a tag team, and I still hate it. But anyways, this turns into Bianca and Sasha just replaying back what happened on Monday with the whole incident. And you know what it led to? It led to a brawl, and eventually it led to, with an assist from Sasha Banks, her and Bianca was able to get Nia fall flat on her ass again, right in the crack, right on the apron, just for her to hurt her hole yet again. Yay. A good segment turned into just another reenactment to make Vince laugh his head off. That's Nia's running gag now. Like, I'm pretty sure, well, because Naomi and Lana are probably gonna be taking on Nia and Shayna at Elimination Chamber, and unless they also add in Sasha and Bianca to that match, and have Sasha and Bianca win the tag titles and have them drop it to... It depends. Again, whoever wins the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tonight is probably going to be... I'll say this. If Dakota and Raquel win the tag match tonight, they're probably going to... They would probably win. Then I'd say we'll probably add Sasha and Bianca and have them win the tag titles and then have them drop it to Dakota and Raquel, maybe. I don't know. A very quick time that probably would happen. I mean, maybe a way to kind of set up like for either Sasha or Bianca, which I still say Sasha, one to turn heel on the other, to at least have a heel and face dynamic for Mania. That's what I think would happen, which, besides giving Vince another laugh, may have been another reason why this segment happened. But we'll see where it goes there. So we got that, and then we have Daniel Bryan and Cesaro taking on the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode for a chamber match. Solid match. And then Cesaro and Bryan won whenever Cesaro got Ziggler to tap out to the Sharpshooter, which he's got a few people to tap out to the Sharpshooter. So cool. But afterwards, though, Jey Uso attacked Cesaro with a steel chair. Corbin and Zayn were at ringside. They attacked Bryan until Kevin Owens came out and basically, probably teased a most likely six-man tag match with Kevin Owens, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan taking on Corbin, Zayn, and Jey Uso next week, probably on SmackDown. And that was the show. Again, solid. Gave it a B-. It was good. It wasn't just decent. I liked it a little bit better than just making a decent show. This stuff can be intriguing, but let's talk about the big elephant in the room, though. The 6 members of the Chamber, and I'll probably talk about this in the Turn Alert, because Cesaro obviously lived by himself as a babyface tonight. Awesome. The 6 members of the Chamber are Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan, and Cesaro. I will take either Daniel Bryan or Cesaro winning that chamber match. Quite frankly, because I highly doubt they would do that Mania, I think Cesaro's win the chamber match. And Cesaro, I got shown by both my friends Joe and Mark, of course, in the live chat, the promo, the very heartfelt, passionate promo that Cesaro cut on Talking Smack this week. Again, I know there's a lot of people that were a little disappointed that Cesaro re-signed with the company after this company has not given him the respect that he deserves, after Vince McMahon in 2014 went on Stone Cold's podcast and live said he doesn't get Cesaro. Maybe it's because he's Swiss. Something's missing. And after all this time, Cesaro still signed with the company. Well, one of the big gripes is, not only has Cesaro not been world champion yet, but I believe in his entire career, besides a Money in the Bank ladder match and like a number one contenders match, like a multi-man number one contenders match, when was the last time Cesaro was actually in a match when the world title was on the line? Quite frankly, only one I can think of is Elimination Chamber 2014, when it was Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Sheamus, Christian, and Cesaro. That was the only time I think Cesaro has ever been in a match where the world title was on the line. So, to at least give WWE some credit, because I still don't see Cesaro. I mean, if they wanted to have Cesaro dethrone Roman Reigns, all power to them. I even think when Daniel Bryan faces Roman Reigns, which I think they should do at either Fastlane or WrestleMania. Still say WrestleMania, but I'm still more and more thinking they're going to do Roman Reigns and Edge at WrestleMania. I still think that either way, neither one of them, Bryan or Cesaro, is going to beat Reigns. But that will at least That will at least make me feel a little bit better about Cesaro re-signing. They at least gave him that one opportunity, because if Cesaro does get that one opportunity to fight for the world title, he's going to make the most out of it. And I feel, what a better way than to have him have an outstanding performance inside the chamber and have him face Roman on the same night. And yeah, he may come up short. Again, but I know they can have good matches. There's two matches I can think of that Roman and Cesaro have had. One was in 2015, whenever they faced off in like the second round of that WWE title tournament, whenever Seth Rollins had to vacate the title because of his ACL injury. Or his ACL, MCL, and meniscus. But they had an outstanding match. And when Reigns was Intercontinental Champion briefly from at the end of 2017 going into 2018, I think it was. Yeah, because it was right, because Reigns was Intercontinental Champion right before he feuded with Brock. I'm just saying, I think it was somewhere between those 6 weeks that Reigns was IC champion. They had a match when Cesaro was Raw Tag Team Champion in the bar, and they had another great match there. So I know, given the opportunity, not only will these two put on an excellent match, but I know Cesaro will at least make the best out of this opportunity he's given. The first ever one-on-one world title match he has ever been given in WWE. As long as they can do that, then I can at least respect WWE a little bit more for at least giving them that chance, and for Cesaro re-signing. I can at least give them a little bit of respect for that. So that's why I'm hoping that, even though I still want to see Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, and quite frankly, with Daniel Bryan been putting over a lot of people lately, I think he could use a couple big victories. But obviously, with teasing a feud with Cesaro and Rollins, and it could be a match at Mania, which would be freaking awesome, I still think they should at least start off with having Cesaro win the Chamber and face Roman Reigns in a one-on-one title match at Chamber. That's what I think should happen. Of course, I'm probably going to talk about most of that anyways in my turn alert for Cesaro, as he's officially a babyface, but that'd be awesome. That would be best for business. You want good buzz? Do that. But yeah, B- for SmackDown this week. I thought it was a solid show. Let's see what we got here in the live chat before we go off the air. Daniel Bryan's promo on SmackDown and on Talking Smack, he said that if Roman Reigns, and if he wins, Roman Reigns is done and he's winning the Universal title. Okay? Why is Seth in a chamber? He is not in a chamber, actually. Kevin has had the main title shot and lost, which he's had. My leg! From SpongeBob, of course. Thank you, Tyler. Mark gave SmackDown a C. He agrees with Daniel when he said something about the Brock Lesnar contract, because even though he shows up, we never see him fight unless it's at a pay-per-view. Which, of course, again, is very true. That's how it is for Brock Lesnar. That probably also is why Brock Lesnar maybe only had like an 8-second match with Kofi Kingston in October, because, well, one, they probably just never wanted to put the title on Kofi, and two, Brock doesn't wrestle on free TV for free. But, you know. And Seth Rollins is going to beat up Cesaro and take his spot in the... that'd be awful. I mean, yes, it would be a storyline, but come on. Just give Cesaro that one title shot, and at least we'll shut up in some ways, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happened, who knows. But yeah. That's going to do it, guys. Again, I have 2 turn alerts I want to do, and I'm leaving in probably about an hour and a half to go up to my friends to watch TakeOver Vengeance Day. We're going to play some Mario Party beforehand, and then we'll go from there. So I will keep the green screen up, because one, doing turn alerts, and two, that's the way I can just hop in, just put the, get the event set up, and just do the live review as soon as I get home tonight. So that'll be the plan there. So guys, but first off, again, thank you for your patience as always. Again, as I was saying, my life is just much more crazier, much more busier than it was 2 years ago. But you guys are always very patient with me, and I'm still glad I'm able to do these streams, on a solid basis. And of course, I got the energy to talk about them again, most of the shows, at least, except for Raw. But yeah, but that's gonna do it, guys. Again, I'm gonna give SmackDown a B- this week. What are your thoughts on SmackDown, guys? Be sure to make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content to come on my channel. And follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93. Until then, guys, I'm the Club of Demand93. I'm signing out, and I'll catch you all later. Well, you'll see me twice for 2 turtlers, for Apollo Crews and for Cesaro. And also later on tonight for my NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day review. So until then, guys, I'm checking out. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out, everybody.